Hi, hello friends, how are you? It's been a while since we just kind of talked. So, I'm about to make my step kiddo's lunch. And I don't know, I'm trying to do this thing where I allow my feminine intuition to kind of rule. And so I was getting ready to make her lunch, and my spirit guides were like, make a video about making peace with the mundane. And I was like, but I haven't made peace with the mundane. And they were like, do it. So, yeah. I just thought we could talk about how I have managed to, again, not really come to peace with having, with my mundane tasks, right? Part of that is my ADHD. Part of that is my Saturn in Sagittarius 10,000. And I'm like, give me freedom. So I don't want to take care of nobody. But kind of how I've managed to retain some level of myself and witchiness and spirituality in even the most mundane tasks. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe it'll be interesting, or maybe it'll be helpful for somebody out there. In other news, y'all, look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Not skinny yet, but I'm getting there. So as much as I would love to be that person that's like, I wake up and I meditate and I list the things that I am grateful for before I even get out of bed. I'm not there yet. Maybe that's part of my problem, but what I try to do is when we have my stepdaughter and it's a school day, a long time ago, I had, for a while, so I've always been obsessed with religions, but for a while, I was really obsessed with Judaism. And I remember that there was this video on how to make traditional challah from like an Orthodox family. So like the Jews, right? And so, and she talked about how as she was making the challah, this was a businesswoman, like she owned her own business. She, had 5 or 6 kids or whatever. And so she's making the challah. And I'll always remember because that's the most mundane task. And she's got to do it every week, right? But she talks about how as she's making the challah, she says a prayer as she's kneading the dough, right? She says a prayer for each child. She says a prayer for her husband, a prayer for their community, a prayer for individual family members. She says prayers for herself. And as I was watching this video years ago, before I got on this path, I was like, that's witchcraft. And it is. Because you're putting intention and energy into this dough that her family would then eat, right? Full of blessings and protection. And so I try to do that now when I remember and I'm not super grumpy. Can I help you? So let's make a sandwich that the kiddo is definitely not going to eat, but it makes my husband feel better. I feel like we're sending her more than just snacks. But first, we need coffee. So, if this is the kind of content you guys like, where I just kind of stand around and talk about what's going on, or downloads I've had, let me know. Because this is a lot more doable some days, where I get up between, I usually get up around 4, just to have some time to myself. And I just kind of putter around. But this I can do, So, to retain some level of witchiness in my life, I really strongly believe in ritual, even if it's something like doing a face mask every day, right? So one of the things that I like to do is be very intentional with my coffee. So I watch, and this was actually something I found on Pinterest a long time ago, but just be taking a minute to be mindful and spinning the coffee clockwise. And I like watching that little swirl that happens in the center, right? Because that is a vortex. And if you're an Abraham Hicks girly, or she, they, gay, Abraham Hicks talks a lot about vortexes, right? So, anyway, so as I'm doing that, I like to imagine or visualize. This is something I just recently started doing again. This is something that I used to do as a kid, just intuitively. But I like to visualize my day, what I'm going to be doing for the day. Especially since I have ADHD, it's really important for me to use the Mel Robbins technique, which is imagining yourself or visualizing yourself doing the shit you don't want to do at all. Because there's something about, if we go there in the mind, when we go there physically, it's a lot easier to tackle. So I try to do that. See myself sitting down and filming long form content. See myself sitting down and writing out articles and blog posts and stuff. Cleaning, showering. So that's kind of what, as I'm doing that, I'm thinking. But I also, real quick, there's this guy called Vishen Lakhiani, and he runs a company called Mind Valley, which is incredible. And I remember in one of the ad campaigns he was doing for Mind Valley, he talked about how when he woke up in the morning, he would sit in bed, he would meditate, whatever, and he would imagine that he was looking at his schedule, right? And what he would do is, if he knew he had, let's say, a sales meeting and then like a baseball game with his kids that day, right? But he wants to nail that sales meeting. So what he would do is, he closes his eyes, pretends he's looking at his schedule, all the things he has to do. And for the sales meeting, he reaches out, right? Reaches out, and he pulls down the energy, the different colors of energy, like energy balls, into that event, right? So he's going to pull a green money ball. He's going to pull red for confidence. He's pulling all of this different energy, and he's putting it into this area, right? And then when he thinks about, his kid's baseball game, he's bringing in, yellow and orange and happy colors and, confetti and love, and like putting all of that intention into that one area of his day. And so when I remember, I try to do that as well. I also like to come up with, and again, guys, this is when I remember, right? Being a wife and a stepmom, running your own business, fuck my life, dog mom, being a daughter and a sister and a friend. It's really easy to get very, very, very bogged down in the 3D and to really start hating your life. It's really easy to feel like you don't have enough time to get anything done, let alone self-care, right? So instead of sitting in that, I've been trying recently to be really intentional about setting my day up for my version of success, which is being productive, right? Bringing some money into the house. Y'all, I paid $600 for groceries. Not even a full cart. $608. What? So, I really encourage all y'all to take a few moments and reconnect with that spiritual woo-woo side of yourself as you're doing the mundane things. There's room for everything. We just have to figure out how to kind of unify the different areas, the different needs of our life, right? And that is definitely something that I have learned, is that it's not always possible to be focused on one thing at a time. And it is possible to live without running away from the aspects you don't really like. You know what I mean? I've always been a runner in that aspect. When life gets hard, I would run away to New York and start a new life. That's been my go-to since I was 18. So, or when, emotional stuff got too hard as a kid, I would run to my room and not come out forever, right? So we have to learn how to be present and how to be able to get through the mundane without trying to escape, while still remaining truthful to ourselves. And so it can be something as simple as taking those 5 seconds in between making lunches and cleaning the kitchen and getting ready for work, where you just take a moment, come back to yourself, and ask yourself, how is your heart? Bringing you back to softness, bringing you back to present moment, bringing you back to your power, right? Like right now, I'm taking a 5-minute break in between doing my step kiddo's hair, making her lunch, getting her backpack together, getting her dressed. And I'm taking my 5 minutes before I go back in, get her boots on, get her jacket on, and we walk down to school. Okay? So make use of those little tiny breaks that you get. Deep breath. How is your heart? Returning to softness, right? And then we get back into Quentin Tarantino, Kill Bill mode, and we go out there and we kick ass and we take names and we build empires, right? Of course, right. Love you. See you soon.